Smokin Jay going to the Dolphins.
Woo.
So we're talking Jay Cutler, talking Miami Dolphins. Got Isaac with me, the Dolphins fan, so I definitely want to get your perspective on this. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Brotherhood? We are about 1 month away from the beginning of the season. I know you're probably getting hyped over there, Rich. Keep that Bud Light to a minimum, though.
Never Bud Light, always Cruise Light. All right. Well, as I mentioned, Jay Cutler signing that 1 year, $10 million deal with the Dolphins. Tannehill went down, I want to say it was last week, kind of re-injured that knee that he had an issue with last year. So what does this mean? You know, where does he rank with quarterbacks? What can we expect with him? We're going to be breaking all that down here. Going to make a quick little video, so definitely, as always, subscribe. Let us know where do you have Jay in your ranks? What do you think about what we're giving you guys? And yeah, on that note, we can get started. So, Isaac, where do you put Cutler as far as quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks? That is, and kind of compare him, Cutler, Tannehill, and then we'll even kind of touch on Colin Kaepernick, where you put all of them, the three options that Miami could win with.
I hear you. Okay, they're between that 15 to 20 range, where you start realizing that there are literally like 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 people that can actually play the quarterback position in the world at any given time in history. But when you really break that down in terms of between 15 and 20 is when you run into that range of guys who I like to call Jeff Greens. They're basically the Jeff Greens of NFL football. Now, stick with me here. Okay, they all have one thing that is elite, but it's not really honed. So when we think about Jeff Green, we think about his athleticism. He can really do anything athletically that anyone else can do, but he doesn't have an elite skill that he has that he can go to as his fallback when everything else is going bad. So, you know, think about it this way. We think about Ryan Tannehill, or when we think about Jay Cutler. He's got an arm that is an absolute rocket. He can make any throw on the field. He's going to do a play that make you go, man, there's only about a handful of players that could have made that throw in the world. But then he's also going to do something that is just absolutely disastrous. And I don't trust him. I don't know anyone who actually does trust him. I don't really think about, you know, all of the body language crap, because that's not really important to me. I mean,
So
we can.
Who do you rank out of those three quarterbacks, Cutler, Tannehill, and Kaepernick? What's your rank?
It goes Ryan Tannehill 1, but not by much. And a lot of people will say Kaepernick because we've already seen if he has the ingredients around him, he can make the meal in the kitchen. But I mean, Cutler's obviously below all those. He's never really shown us anything. He's never really shown trust or someone that you can get behind. They talk about him being a bad locker room guy. Like I said, I don't buy into that. But you know, Kaepernick, he can perform on the big stage. We've already seen it. As long as he has the guys and the horses around him. Tannehill has a lot to prove, but he's shown the most growth out of all three of those from a year-by-year basis. He's stayed steady, regardless of having a horrific Dolphins O-line since he's ever been in the league. But, yeah, for me, it goes Tannehill now. Kaepernick's on the decline because he just has nothing to work with. And, I mean, a lot of people question if he wants the passion to even be there, and he can't find a job right now anyway. Thank you, owners. But then followed by Cutler behind all those two. I mean, Cutler has no more to prove. He's 34. He's probably been chasing around his kids. Is all he said. He's been out of shape. We already heard that in an interview of his. So now it's really just. I guess quarterbacks don't really have to, because I mean Brett Favre, he was taking, you know, like off seasons off too. He doesn't have the talent of a Brett Favre, but he still has the comparable arm strength. At least, you know, be some semblance of what he was.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. I'm putting Cutler last out of those three just because the intangibles, I know you said the body language doesn't matter for you that much, but I think at the quarterback position, that stuff is just it's key. I don't think he has any competitive drive to him. I mean, all the cliches and all that stuff about him, it's a little bit oversold, but you can't be a leader, man, when you're just sulking. He doesn't seem like he really wants it. I mean, you touched on the press conference that he just had where he's, oh, I'm a quarterback, so I don't really have to be that much in shape. Like, he just doesn't have it. But from a physical standpoint, he's probably, well, his arm's good, but Tannehill and Kaepernick are both more mobile. But, yeah, I'd say probably in that lower Lower fourth tier, I'd probably put Tannehill in maybe that low second, high third, and I'd probably put Kaepernick somewhere in the third tier. So, I mean, just some quick numbers here. I mean, his career, he's 69 and 72 as a starter. He's usually had, I mean, he played with Brandon Marshall a ton, so he's had weapons. 62%.
Alshon Jeffrey.
He's got 208 touchdowns to 146 picks, which is essentially a 4-3 touchdown interception ratio. And his best year that he's ever had is 10-5. So we can just
that's another frustrating part though of him is that remember he even has that athleticism as well too. He can move a little bit, and you'll see him make a play where he'll run for 15 yards. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't know Jay Cutler could move like that. And then like he'll just throw the ball away the very next play. It's incredible, really, to watch him play.
Yeah, I don't think his mental grasp of the game really matches up with his body. But let's say that things do go well this year. He does put together a nice, solid 2017 campaign. I guess that kind of leaves Dolphins kind of in a quarterback dilemma if Cutler does well this year, which, for the record, I don't think there's a shot in hell. But if he does that put Tannehill on the hot seat next year?
I mean, we joked around a little bit about this because of the simple fact that nobody really trusts. I mean, no Dolphin fan is sitting here like, yes, all my heart and soul is into Ryan Tannehill. And, I believe in him wholeheartedly because we don't. The reality is we don't know what great quarterback play looks like since, September 9th of 2000 when, we won our last game in the playoffs.
Hey, September 9th, that's preseason.
Yeah, no. I'm thinking about September 9th, 2000, as in, like, that was the last time we had an elite quarterback in terms of Marino. No, just in terms of something we've been able to tangible hold in our hands and say, this QB is ours as an elite QB. So we even had.
But why September 9th? That's the part that I don't understand.
Sorry, not September 9th. I lied. My bad. It was January 9th. I don't even know why I was saying September.
Okay. That's what was throwing me off. All right, you're good.
My bad. But like, what I expect is him to go about 3-2. I mean, we got the first 5 games are Tampa Bay, the LA Chargers. Oh, that's so weird to say that. The New York Jets, the Saints, and the Tennessee Titans. So if he goes 3-2, that's about all I can ask for him from that. And that'll, inevitably lead us to have more Dolphin hope and then get crushed in the middle of the season. That's just how it always goes. So, I mean, what was really the ceiling? The ceiling was, a playoff berth. And I think Ryan Tannehill could give them that. But I don't see Cutler doing too much. I see him doing good enough to tease us like 9-7 at his peak and best. But, it's going to be disastrous other than that. So mediocre or disastrous is what's going to happen.
I think that's a good assessment. I think when you said the ceiling with Tannehill is a playoff berth, that's pretty much it. I mean, you could see them going maybe like 10-6 or something like that. They've got some decent weapons, but with Cutler, I mean, I touched on it with the intangibles, just not really being a leader, the lack of competitiveness. I don't see how they can do anything better than 8-8. I think 8-8's for ceiling. I think it was 10-6 with Tannehill. But, I mean, I think, obviously that's why, he was not with the team. That's why he had to come out of retirement and all that stuff. So I see him ceiling 8-8, but I'm going to say realistically, I see him at 6-10 to 7-9. I don't think he's going to be back next year, and I think that he's, probably going to be retired again. So I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, well, if this Dolphins O-line isn't good and healthy, which it's had problems with health here in the past, Cutler could be out in the first 4 months with that dad body.
Yeah, right? Seriously. All right. Well, next time, this is kind of part 1 for the video. Next time, we're going to touch on the whole Kaepernick situation, why he didn't get picked, and all that stuff, which we didn't want to throw him into one because then we'd be talking for.
Hey, I think whenever now we see a dad body, or a dad with his shirt off and the pudge is coming out and all that, we just need to yell, Kobe.
You mean Cutler?
No. Kobe, as in Kobe, because Kobe got that dad body now. You see that?
What does that have to do with Jay Cutler?
Nothing. I'm just saying, like, you thought about, Jay Cutler having his dad body as well because he hasn't been playing football and working out.
That's where I thought you were going to go with. You just had to throw the Kobe in there, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just sounds better than Cutler.
Cutty. Well, yeah.
No.
That about it's kind of like an insult because he's getting pudgy. I don't want to insult Kobe.
Yeah.
Good. Let's do good. But all right, good stuff, man. We'll be back next time. Like I said, we'll do some Kaepernick, why he didn't go to the Dolphins, and all that stuff, and just kind of keep things short. So, all right.
Yeah.
Until next time, guys.